Hi. I'm Barry Rain with ISSA Los Angeles, and we're here at the 8th Annual Information Security Summit at the Universal Hilton in Los Angeles. With me today is our morning keynote speaker, Jack Daniel of Tenable Security, B-Sides, and all-around cybersecurity guru. Jack, thank you very much for coming today. Like to ask you a few questions. First of all, you have your choice of security conferences. I'd like to ask you why you decided to come to ours.
Thank you. I was invited, and I wanted to come. I knew it was a good event. It has a great reputation. The fact that it's Los Angeles in the spring doesn't hurt, So it was a good opportunity. I saw who the folks that have spoken in years past and who are speaking this year, and I thought it was a great opportunity to come with a great crowd.
Well, thank you again. We're glad to have you. What do you feel are some of the larger challenges facing the cybersecurity world today?
All of them, yes, all of the above. There are a couple of broad categories. There's the personnel shortage is a challenge. Getting people in. There are a lot of people that want to enter the industry, but it's hard making that first step. It's hard bringing them in. But part of that skills shortage is a fundamental technology problem. A century ago, maybe a little bit over a century ago, major cities couldn't hire enough groomsmen to handle the horses. They couldn't find enough sanitation engineers to take the horse manure out of the cities. Okay. And had they simply thrown more people at those problems, the world would not have gotten better. The automobile brought a different set of problems, but as the technology changes, the need for people changes dramatically too. Yeah. So that's a couple of different things. On the actual technical side, complexity is like the blanket word. Complexity is makes it really hard to be secure. I won't say impossible, but we have a model of building security on top of things, which is additive security. Right. And by adding complexity, that kind of goes counter to the fundamentals, but it's all we can do in the short term. So we're trapped in a bandage situation, and we do a lot of volatile stuff where a lot of effort is lost. Anybody that spent a lot of time securing OS2 Warp, that's not of much value today.
Yeah, I know. You have to go with what the technology is, but it doesn't necessarily say something about the future. So following up to something you just said, so what, if any, advice can you give to people who are trying to break into the cybersecurity world? I've had several people ask me, they're really aspirational, they're really trying to get in, but it seems the doors aren't always open. So if you have any advice?
There are a couple of things. It doesn't solve the large-scale need, but if you're trying to get into this industry, if you think it's fun, if you like to learn, it's lifelong learning, cool. Yeah. The trick is finding that first step, and there are a couple of ways in. In a perfect world, it would be a technical meritocracy or something. But if you don't come to events like this, or the B-Sides events, or your local Linux user group, if you don't meet people, you're not going to have the best insights into things. You're not going to hear about things. You're not going to have the resources that help you not only find that first job, but find out if it's a good fit for you. You're not going to know who to ask when you're in over your head. Right. So, networking, and then whatever you do, making some record of it, whether it's, having, projects on GitHub, whether it's, blogging, whether it's doing, how-to videos, and even if it's stuff that people already know how to do, you bring a unique perspective to it. Yeah. So you learn and share, and you repeat that process until, you get asked to keynote this summit.
There you go. Okay, great, thank you. Following up from an earlier question, so you talked about what's facing the world. How about the longer term future security challenges? I have a particular interest in cloud security. So it seems that everything's migrating to the cloud. So what challenges do you see facing us as everything moves in that direction?
Well, it's there are challenges and opportunities. Like every disruptive technology, there are challenges and opportunities. And we can go back to the first mainframes, the first computer systems, and when people panicked when they started running wires out of the room and had terminals in completely different rooms, and then they ran the wire, to the next county, and they had it in a different county, right? And people started freaking out, and then we went to this client-server model, which was going to be the end of security, right?
Yes.
And then we went to virtualization, which was going to be the end of security, and because you could do all of these things, and cloud is the next logical step from there, and there are all sorts of opportunities to move forward. It does, if we don't stop and think what each of these steps means to us. It also gives us the opportunity to make the same old mistakes plus new ones at a speed and scale that was previously unimaginable.
Right. Yeah.
But we stop and think about it. If we talk about cloud services and we talk about microservice architectures and containerization, we break up the jobs. We don't think about one big server that does a bunch of things in a monolithic blob. That means that we never patch a production server again once we get re-architected to that point, right? We do load shifting. We're like, okay, we're never going to put a patch on a box that's running. We're just going to put fully patched systems online, shift loads to them, run the workflow back and forth. It allows us to fall forward and backwards quickly. It's great if we do the architecture right. If not, we get to put the same bandages on at speed and scale.
Make the same mistakes.
Right, and there's opportunity. And obviously there's a lot of hype and FUD around Internet of Things and IoT, but the hyper-connectedness of full-stack operating systems is a challenge that we have to face. And just with denial of service attacks, over the past few years, we've seen the reflective denial of service attacks, things like playing off of NTP or DNS. And if you think about that, what kind of people are running an NTP server? Well, it's beardy old Unix guys like me that are running NTP servers, right? If I find I misconfigured one, I'm like, I feel like a dummy and fix it right away. DNS, you got to take care of that. The internet kind of breaks when we break DNS.
Right.
Now we're seeing things like SSDP, the Universal Plug and Play Discovery Protocol. Who runs Universal Plug and Play facing the internet? Not us professionals. Those things aren't, well, good point. We shouldn't. Those things aren't run, those are just turned on. That could be, your toaster. That could be your refrigerator. That could be your router. And those things don't have administrators. And that's going to be a challenge. We're going to have another round of internet sanitization to deal with.
Who's going to patch their fridge? Who's going to patch their fridge? No, we're facing a large set of new challenges, but I think that's always been the case. So I think that's about all the time we have. So I really appreciate you coming. Thank you very much for speaking with us, and thank you for taking the time for this interview.
Thank you very much. It was great. Thank you for inviting me. It's been a fantastic event.
Thank you.